Before we call the meeting to order, I would like to read the city's land acknowledgement. The West Hollywood City Council acknowledges that the land on which we gather, and that is currently known as the City of West Hollywood, is the occupied, unceded, seized territory of the Gabrielino Tongva and the Gabrielino Quiche peoples. I'm calling the December 15th, 2025 City Council meeting to order. It is 6:01 p.m., final council meeting of the year. We have two very special, oh yes, that's worth applause. We have two very special guests with us tonight to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Will Amani Jane Gist and Sarah Lima Almeida please join us in the front of the room to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republics for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job. Thank you so much. All right, City Clerk, may we please have a roll call?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Councilmember Erickson.
Here.
Councilmember Hang.
Present.
Councilmember Meister.
Here.
Vice Mayor Heilman.
Here.
Mayor Byers.
I am here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll move to approval of the agenda. Are there any changes from staff tonight on the agenda?
There are no changes from staff this evening.
Okay, I'll look to Councilmember Erickson to make some changes on our end.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I was wondering if we would move F3, consider revisions to the city's policy for recognitions and memorials to consent. Okie dokie. I was hoping we could move F2, the construction agreement, to consent. Okay, I love it. And I would love to see if we could move item F1, appointment of the city manager, adoption of the resolution approving employment agreement, and amendment to the salary schedule to consent.
Are there any public speakers on that?
There are no public speakers on that item.
I just have to read the compensation and benefits for the public before the contract is adopted, but you can move it to consent.
Okay.
And Mayor, can I note my no vote on B7? B as in boy, that's on the delivery device ordinance.
Yes. And I think we'll make sure we have you say that again when the consent agenda is formally adopted.
Yep,
Yep.
I will.
Okay. So we have F1 with a note, F2 and F3 going to consent. We had a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. Thank you both.
Motion passes 5-0.
We have an adopted agenda. Can we get any reports of any Levine Act disclosures that may be here tonight? No,
None.
Seeing none. Then we'll go straight to our adjournment motions. I know Councilmember Meister, you have a few. We'll get started with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I would like to adjourn in memory of the victims of the Bondi Beach mass shooting in Sydney. I would like to adjourn in memory of the victims of the mass shooting that occurred this past weekend on December 14th at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia, during a Hanukkah celebration attended by hundreds of people. In this tragic attack, at least 15 people were killed and more than 40 were injured, including members of the community and emergency responders. We extend our deepest condolences to the families and loved ones of those lost and to all those affected in the Bondi and Greater Sydney communities as they mourn this senseless act of violence. Our thoughts are with them during this difficult time. I'd also like to adjourn tonight's meeting in recognition, in memory of Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, who were tragically killed this past weekend. Rob Reiner has made an indelible mark on the arts and entertainment industry, directing and producing beloved films such as When Harry Met Sally, The Princess Bride, Stand By Me, and A Few Good Men. Michelle Singer Reiner was a talented photographer and film producer who met Rob on the set of When Harry Met Sally. She creatively contributed to film and media throughout her career. Beyond their cinematic contributions, he and Michelle have been active in civic engagement and advocacy on important social issues. Locally in West Hollywood in 2018, I organized a rally entitled Families Belong Together. Actually, it was a rally for sane policies, also known as Families Belong Together, which were rallies that were happening all over the country to oppose the immigration crisis caused by the Trump administration's inhumane family separation policy. Rob proudly participated as a speaker at this event, lending his voice and platform to this critical cause. We extend our heartfelt condolences to Rob and Michelle Reiner's family and friends who are mourning this tragic loss, and we honor their lasting contributions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Do any of my colleagues have other adjournment motions? No? If I would like to then adjourn in the memory of the Brown University students who were killed in the shooting over this weekend. The two students, Ella Cook and Muhammad Aziz Umar Khazov, were tragically killed following a mass shooting that occurred on December 13th at Brown University during a final exam review session, the same day the Sandy Hook anniversary took place. 9 others were also wounded in this shooting, and we extend our deepest condolences to the families and loved ones of those affected and to the entire Brown University community as they mourn this senseless act of violence. Thank you all. We will turn now to our presentations for the evening. First, recognizing the 2 fabulous young people who led us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Thank you both, Amani and Sarah, so much. Come back up here and we'll take a photo with you and give you these certificates. Absolutely, one of the best traditions this council has done. I really enjoy the students. Thank you so much for coming out and being a part of it. Okay, and we'll move into our next presentation this evening. I think for many of us, we know what's coming. Tonight is truly bittersweet. It does mark the final city council meeting for our city manager, David Wilson. We are truly so grateful for his leadership and service to the community here in West Hollywood and of course beyond across this whole region as he has made tremendous impact. And before myself and my colleagues share some remarks about David, I wanted to share this video from our supervisor, Lindsay Horvath.
Good evening. I am so pleased to congratulate City Manager David Wilson on his retirement. After 5 years as city manager and so many more serving the city of West Hollywood, I join so many others in saying what we all know well. The city of West Hollywood is better because of you, David. During my time on the city council and as mayor, I was proud to work alongside you to steer the city through post-COVID challenges, and your work to keep the city solvent and to navigate important fiscal challenges. A minimum wage increase and the Hotel Workers Protection Ordinance made West Hollywood a more reliable partner for so many. David, while all of us are undoubtedly going to feel your absence, I wish you the best in retirement, and I wish the best to your family too. I know you've been through a lot. This next chapter is going to be so great. I just know it. After giving so much to our city and to our region, I hope you'll have plenty of time to give back to yourself. I especially appreciate that amidst it all, you took time to join our Blue Ribbon Commission and to provide your expertise and support at a time that was so personally difficult, that you stepped up even bigger to help a broader region of folks. I just can't thank you enough for who you are and who you've chosen to be for as long as I've known you. Thank you so much. All my best to you and to your family, and congratulations.
And now I would like to read a proclamation prepared for David Wilson. Whereas David has dedicated more than 25 years of exemplary service to the city of West Hollywood, beginning his career in 1998 as an intern in the Economic Development and Housing Division. And in 1999, David was hired as a Development Specialist 1, where he played a key role in the East Side redevelopment project area and contributed to the city's influential Economic Summit report. And whereas, through his professionalism, leadership, and commitment to public service, David has earned numerous promotions, including Development Specialist 2 in 2001, Project Development Administrator in 2003, Management Analyst in 2004, Senior Management Analyst in 2007, Budget and Compensation Manager in 2008, and Director of Finance and Technology in 2012, guiding the city through multiple two-year budget cycles, strengthening organizational operations, and helping maintain the city's prestigious AAA bond rating. And whereas David's exceptional abilities and forward-thinking leadership led to his appointment as Deputy City Manager in 2016, Assistant City Manager in 2018, and ultimately to his service as City Manager beginning in 2021. And whereas, upon assuming the role of City Manager, David provided calm, steady, and capable leadership through one of the most challenging periods in recent history, guiding the city through the COVID-19 pandemic and its recovery while safeguarding public health, maintaining services, and preserving fiscal stability. And whereas, under David's stewardship, the city of West Hollywood emerged from the COVID-19 crisis with a balanced budget and a solid financial foundation, enabling the city to invest in infrastructure, community safety, human services, capital projects, and sustainable growth for the benefit of all residents and community members. And whereas, David's leadership in advancing major citywide initiatives, including the WehoTV strategic plan and the city's involvement with the Government Alliance on Race and Equity, has strengthened the city's commitment to equity, inclusion, and community well-being that will benefit West Hollywood for years to come. And whereas, throughout his tenure, David has fostered a culture of collaboration, compassion, transparency, and responsiveness to empower city staff, engage community members, and ensure that local government serves all segments of West Hollywood's constituency. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of West Hollywood hereby recognizes David Allen Wilson for his outstanding leadership and commitment to service and wishes him the absolute best in his retirement. And at this time, I would like to open it up for my colleagues for any remarks that they would like to make as well. We'll start with Councilmember Meister.
Thank you, Mayor. And David, I didn't prepare anything, but during a very uncertain time, you provided the stability that the city needed, and I really appreciate that. I also appreciate our phone calls every other Friday morning, even when you probably didn't want to talk to me, knowing that there would be a difficult council meeting coming up the following Monday. I appreciate that you took the time to listen and also to look into things to be able to respond. And so, again, I really appreciate that you were there, you were present. And I also wish you the best in the next chapter and hope you get your house rebuilt quickly, that the county doesn't hold you up too much with all of their codes, and that you get to really enjoy retirement because you deserve it.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Heilman.
David, I know you well, and I know you hate this kind of public attention, so I'm going to keep my remarks very, very brief. First of all, thank you for your incredible service to the city and to our community. Rent stabilization, redevelopment, finance, everything you've done, helping out during several lawsuits that we were involved with. You've just been an incredible public servant, and I really, really thank you. And on a personal level, it's been such a delight to work with you and run marathons and get to meet Jody and your kids and to share good times. You deserve your retirement, and I look forward to keeping in touch and continuing to have a great relationship. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Councilmember Erickson.
Thank you so much. David, we go back quite a ways from when I was a little old intern. And you have just always been such a positive person, a solid voice of reason, and someone that never really rattled very easily. I knew that if something brought a little alert to your voice, I would go, oh, okay, we should probably be paying more attention to that. But you were always very cool. You kept things together during some of the most awful times that our city has faced, you know, whether that be what you shared at our holiday party, working through 9/11, all the way up to COVID, to so many other things that you've really seen our city through your executive leadership, as well as then moving into the city manager role. I've always gotten to see your beautiful family and how they've grown, and your daughter who would contribute to my growing waistline with her cookies that she would sell through her red wagon that she would go through City Hall, because I was always working past 6. I still remember the email I got from you saying, John can't work any more overtime hours. His internship is pretty much done, so we have to figure out what we're gonna do here. But I'll never forget your attention to detail, even back then. And then when I was first elected, seeing you not only rise up to become our next city manager, but truly becoming our city manager at a time of crisis when we had to make sure our employees were safe, our community was safe, the funding that we had was safe. You really saw a plan and a vision, and we would not be, and I say this, we as a city would not be where we are today without your financial stewardship of our dollars. As well as telling us no when we're spending too much, and you always do that very tactful. But on a personal level, the man that you are is truly admirable. When we met back when I was leaving the mayorship, and everything was happening with your family, you know, I had said to you, I think, well, David, you can't leave. You know, I need you, we need you, the city needs you, and you literally said, my family needs me. And man, at that moment, I knew that you were just a man. I hope that we can always continue to look up to that moral courage. And it means a lot, and I know out there it means a lot to everyone. And even when people didn't agree, you always steadied the ship, and I appreciate that so much about you. And I will miss you. I was already telling people you weren't showing up tonight because, you know, hey, we got Jackie and we're gonna vote on it, but, you know, Kat knows. I said, I don't think he's coming, but, you know, we'll see. You're here. But first and foremost, thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a mentor, and thank you for making my first term in office successful, because you guided me through some really tough conversations, and I really appreciate you, and I'll never forget that. Congratulations, David.
Councilmember Hang.
Thank you, Mayor. David, thank you for helping me get through my freshman year with patience, with love, with kindness, and I mean, as soon as I got sworn in, the fires happened, and you helped steady the ship. When the immigration raids happened, you helped steady the ship for our city, so thank you. Thank you for teaching me how to be a better person. And thank you for giving me advice and guidance, even sometimes when I didn't want it, but knew that I had to hear it. So that I really appreciate. I remember a month, not even a month after I was sworn in, I went to dinner with you. And that's when you had said, you know, I'm gonna retire. And I was like, I just got here, you're already leaving? And my eyes started tearing up at the table. You've been a steady presence sitting on my right side, and I'm gonna miss you. Thank you for all you've contributed to our city.
Thank you. Yeah, David, we're so grateful for you. Personally, as the first council member sworn in since you became city manager, to really get to work with you, to be onboarded, to really understand what it means to support staff through your vision, to support the city. I feel so supported and so lucky to have grown in my leadership under your tenure as city manager these first 3 years, and to have served in mayor in your last year. We know how fortunate we are as a city, but I think we cannot impress it upon the public enough what it means to be a city so well situated financially, to be able to take on the ambitious projects that we do, capital projects, but also having an ice rink in the park for our holiday season. We are able to do so much and give so much to the community because of the financial health that you've brought and the stability you've brought to the city through really difficult times. And it was an honor, so everyone knows, we were able to give the key to the city to David at the Cityhood celebration, an event that he really helped imagine and dream up. And his family was present with us that night, a family that I think has really also invested so deeply in this city by way of your commitment being here. It truly takes everyone to support your ability to take those phone calls in the middle of the night or early in the morning or on the weekends. And so we thank your family also for their support of the city through so much, and your fully dedicated presence through all this time that you've also been dealing with. We really appreciate you so much. So we will wrap up the celebrations for you, but it will continue to ring very true that we are so grateful for all you've given to the city and the legacy you've built. And to hear that you recognize that legacy more than any of that sort of financial strength or health or all the things we're celebrating, but what you've invested in the staff and the team here. Hearing those words from you at the holiday party meant so much. So it is truly an honor, and I will ask the whole council to join me at the dais to accept the proclamation and to take a photo with you and celebrate you one last time. Thanks, David.
Well, so as you all know, I'm a person of few words. Fortunately, WehoVille put my entire presentation from the 40th anniversary. I posted it online, and so I won't make you all suffer through me going through another long presentation. But I do want to thank the City Council. Thank you all for your kind words and all the memories that we've shared and that you've brought to me, as well as our previous council members for their support, not only for me as city manager, but throughout my career here with the city. I also want to thank all of you community members, especially those who have reached out and thanked me for my service here and said goodbye and showed appreciation, and all of those who haven't had the opportunity to do that. I truly do love this city, and I've really loved my experience here and all the time providing service to this community. And I know this community is really grateful for the service that we as a whole, the city staff, provides. And finally, I just want to thank our city staff. It is an amazing staff. Thank you all for working so hard and making me look good, because quite frankly, that's hard to do. But I thank you all. I know I'd leave the city in really good hands with this staff and with Jackie Rocco at the helm as city manager as I retire. So thank you.
I know we have a few dignitaries here to share remarks as well, and we'll do that under our public comment section, so we'll get into that. The City Council values your comments. However, pursuant to the Brown Act, the Council cannot take action on items not listed on the posted agenda. The public comment period is limited to 20 minutes, with 2 minutes allotted for each speaker. This public comment period is to address the City Council on consent calendar items, other agenda items if the member of the public cannot be present at the time the item is considered, or items of general interest within the jurisdiction of the City Council. Another period is also reserved for general comment later in the meeting for those that could not be heard at this time. And public hearing testimony will only be taken at the time of the hearing. So we'll start first with Lieutenant Fanny Lapkin. And then we'll go to Mandy I'm sorry. It says Lieutenant here. I'm just reading the screen. Captain Fanny Lapkin, everyone knows and everyone can correct the record.
I respond to all of it. Fanny, Lapkin, Captain, Lieutenant. David, this is a small token of our appreciation from the Alley County Sheriff's Department. We have a proclamation for your amazing leadership, mentorship that you've had throughout the city. I know, me being young here on the with the city, you've been an amazing friend and a great mentor. In recognition of your outstanding leadership as city manager of West Hollywood, your partnership over the years has brought meaningful and lasting improvement to the community. On behalf of the men and women of Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, we appreciate your commitment to the community and the role you have played in keeping West Hollywood safe. So this is on behalf of Sheriff Luna. Proclamation. Can I approach and just?
Yeah.
Do you want to take a photo?
City clerk will.
Thank you. We'll miss you and we love you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mandy Laughlin representing Supervisor Horvath's office.
Hi, David, and Joshua's going to come up with me too. We're going to speak together. On behalf of myself as a resident, I want to say thank you for all the support that I've seen you give the city while I've lived here and also while I was a commissioner here. Your leadership is apparent, and I feel that you brought a certain calmness to operations in the city too that I know is really well appreciated. And then on behalf of LA County, I want to thank you for your service. 25 years is a really long time, and I know that you are a big part of what makes West Hollywood so special and what's made West Hollywood so successful for the tenure that you've been here.
Thank you, Mandy. And David, I'll say I've only been in WeHo for about a couple of years now, but I quickly learned just how big your impact and your legacy has been here in this city. So it's been an honor to get to know you. And on behalf of Assembly Members of Birth, thank you for your many years of service.
Wonderful. We'll continue with public comment. I have Kevin Burton, then followed by Darius Anderson, followed by Wendy Goldman.
Good evening, council members. Kevin Burton, City of West Hollywood. I just want to say a few comments on item F3, which is the city's policy on recognitions and memorials, and that includes plaques and certifications and other honors. I represent the West Hollywood Bicycle Coalition, and we would like to urge the city to add another type of memorial to the array you already offer to the city, and that is memorial sign at locations of traffic deaths due to crashes. This is done by several cities around the state. You'll see these signs in LA, in Pasadena, Paso Robles up in the Central Coast, several other cities. And they serve two purposes. One is to memorialize the people who suffered those tragedies at those locations and to show that we don't forget them. The second is as a reminder to drivers to drive carefully, that people can get killed when you don't drive carefully. And in LA, you'll see messages, very brief, on such signs to that effect. And it's usually related to what happened. So we hope that you will consider adding that kind of memorial to your recognitions program, and so that the city will make a statement that those who have died tragically are not soon forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you. Darius Anderson, followed by Wendy Goldman, followed by David Eichmann.
Hello, esteemed members of West Hollywood. I want to talk to you about B5, which particularly pertains to unhoused individuals in West Hollywood. Myself, having been an unhoused individual in West Hollywood, I would like to say that I understand that the issue is a concern for personal property in this city. I would also like to mention that the mission of the Environmental Quality Act is to preserve the ecology of this environment and the welfare of the people. It is the intent of this council to identify critical thresholds for the health and safety of the people of West Hollywood. We are a community. More than that, we're a team. I believe that the Unhoused Bill of Rights, introduced by Representative Cori Bush in 2021, intended to stop the criminalization and mandate federal actions to end transients by the end of this year. I would remind you guys that we're a community and that the unhoused may simply need a place to store their property during this time, and that there are organizations out there willing to help. Those including the Bin by Chrysalis, which could be implemented in this city to help preserve some of the property of the unhoused while they're here. Again, that's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Wendy Goldman, followed by David Eichmann, followed by David Eckert.
Good evening, Wendy Goldman, City of West Hollywood. On behalf of Cynthia's Sunset Neighborhood Watch, I would like to publicly thank Genevieve Morel for her unending support for us, for Sunset Strip restoration, and for her humor during the 15 years that she has been president of the West Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. While we have disagreed on occasion, Jen has proved to be a woman of valor who strives for the best in dealing with business leaders, community members, and city council. Her values are top-notch, and I admire the way that she has led since the pandemic and recovery from the tremendous economic loss to our local businesses. As the Sunset Strip continues to face uncertainty with many struggling or closed businesses, pedestrian obstructions, stalled developments galore, and a severe lack of green space, I trust that the work that Genevieve has done will be continued by new CEO Len Lodsey in the same good faith. I'd also like to thank the members of the city's boards and commissions who invest in improving many aspects of life in West Hollywood in partnership with city staff. Your service is so appreciated. Happy holidays to all, and remember to stay aware of your surroundings and help improve public safety. Thank you.
David Eichmann, followed by David Eckert, followed by Scott Schmidt.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, Council members. David Eichmann, Chair of the City's Transportation and Mobility Commission. I too want to first thank David Wilson for his many years of service to this community, and I want to commend the council on its wisdom in selecting Jackie Rocco as our next city manager. She has already served the city admirably, and I look forward to working with her. Congratulations, Jackie. On a somber note, my heart also goes out to the Jewish community in Australia. So to show what a small world we live in, one of my Dartmouth classmates is on the town council in Waverly, which is the area that includes Bondi Beach. He is Jewish. The mayor had asked him to go to 2 events that night celebrating Hanukkah. He was finishing his speech at the first event and about to head over to the beach. Thankfully, he is okay, but as you can imagine, he is shocked. It's a fairly small Jewish community in Sydney, so everyone there is impacted. And this just shows this can happen anywhere. So my charge to everyone tonight is if you hear someone make an anti-Semitic comment, call it out, please. By being silent, you're not helping rid the world of anti-Semitism. So with that in mind, happy holiday.
David Eckert, followed by Scott Schmidt, followed by Rich Magana.
Good evening, City Council. David Eckert, resident of West Hollywood. This is the time of the year where I just want to say I am grateful for every single one of you. You are all beacons of lights. You have all such great souls. You inspire me daily. We might disagree at times, but I so value each and every one of you. You make the world a better place, and I hope people watching at home realize how selfless every one of these people are that represent our city. This includes everyone at city staff that I've ever dealt with. It's time that we all look at each other in this world. With everything that's happened lately, it breaks my heart that we as individuals can't look at people and see the differences. You do. I so appreciate that. David Wilson, I hope that when you build a home, you build a bigger wall for all the accolades that you have received. And again, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you. And for something to look forward to next year, I would love, the lights along Santa Monica Boulevard are beautiful. I would love for the park to be lit up just as well. We get people out of the cars. Let's become a community where we actually come together and celebrate. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Love you all.
Scott Schmidt, followed by Rich Magana, followed by Nick Roybal.
Good evening, Scott Schmidt, resident of West Hollywood, Executive Director of Emerald Village, West Hollywood. First, let me thank you, Dave, for your service. It was a pleasure serving alongside you for 91 days as a colleague. And the last couple of years working with Emerald Village, the staff has been a wonder to work with. And also to you, Genevieve Morel, in the audience, thank you for your service to West Hollywood. I look forward to working with Lynn Lonzi at the Chamber. I've known him since the turn of the century, and I'm excited about him coming here, and I think he's going to be an asset to the city as well. And also, before I get going, I realized just now, Lauren and John Howman, a year from now, we will be here celebrating your service to this city, and honestly, some of the best public servants that West Hollywood has known, and I hope maybe we take a whole night to celebrate them, separate from the council meeting, because we couldn't do them justice in just this part. Now, moving on, a year ago, you gave us a contract for Emerald Village to fund through the first of the year. I said that I hope I could come back and tell you that we had improved cannabis sales in West Hollywood by 10% compared to the statewide average. In the third quarter of this year, from July to cannabis sales were up 4.8% in West Hollywood, down 5.4% statewide. Compared to where we were a year ago, we're selling $82 more per capita than the rest of the state. And to do the math, that translates to about $3 million in additional revenue that has been generated in the last year. Since I last saw you, we've done a lot. We crowned a new Queen of the Emerald Village, Paradisa Darling. We judged the Amsterdam Coffee Shop Awards. We spoke at MJ BizCon, and we hosted the first ever Rainbow Royale LGBT after-hours party at MJ BizCon. And we've got some great things coming up in 2026, including, thanks to your support, February 28th, the Cannabis Culture and Change Conference in this very building. Thank you.
Rich Magana, followed by Nick Roybal, followed by Genevieve Morel.
Greetings, council members. My name is Rich Magana. I'm the founder of Queer in Cannabis. We're an organization focused on preserving the extensive LGBTQ history, specifically within the cannabis space. As Scott mentioned, we are partnering up with him for the Cannabis Culture and Change Symposium, where we'll be screening the unreleased documentary of Join the Club, which is a documentary focused on the intersection of the LGBT community, cannabis, and HIV/AIDS. It's often an untold story. It's definitely a story that the majority of people within my industry know. So I just wanted to thank everyone here for giving us the platform to be able to share this story to a larger population. So thank you very much.
Nick Roybal, followed by Genevieve Morel.
Hi, Mayor and Vice Mayor and Council. I don't know about any of you, but this weekend has been really tough. In many areas, I teach first-year students at CalArts English, and the incidents at Brown shook me. I have friends who also teach at Brown. On the second night of Hanukkah, in these moments, I often turn to a rabbi by the name of Abraham Joshua Heschel. Rabbi Heschel often helps me connect with my heart and my soul
and gives me the grounding that I need when my nervous system is bumped up, when I don't quite have a language for these difficult, incongruous feelings, right? These feelings that are scared and lonely and tired. So to the city of West Hollywood, I share this from Rabbi Heschel on the second night of Hanukkah. I would say about individuals, an individual dies when they cease to be surprised. I am surprised every morning when I see the sun shine again. When I see an act of evil, I don't accommodate. I don't accommodate myself to the violence that goes on everywhere. I am still so surprised. That is why I am against it. We must learn to be surprised. City of West Hollywood and Council, I am constantly surprised by the depths of our love and care. May we extend that more than ever tonight. Thank you.
Genevieve Morel will be our final speaker in chambers.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members, Genevieve Morrill, President and CEO of the West Hollywood Chamber for another, I don't know how many days, hours, or seconds, but until January 12th when Len comes in. But I know you haven't taken action on it yet, but I wanted to thank outgoing Mayor Byers for her service. It was stellar, exceptional, and welcome the new Vice Mayor Heilman to be our new mayor, hopefully, if you vote on it. I've seen Councilmember Heilman, Vice Mayor Heilman, many times over as mayor, so I know you'll do a great job. And then I also just wanted to thank our outgoing city manager, David Wilson. David, you came in at a really tough time. It was a tough time for the business community as well. You got through with such respectful, stellar dignity with my emotional craziness and how many battles we waged, but you took it all in and you were just amazing in helping us get through all that. Thank you, Councilmember Erickson, for all the years, and I've known you a very long time as well through some of that internship you talked about. And Councilmember Hang, as the new council, we've just started to get to know each other, so thank you. And Councilmember Meister, thank you so much. Sorry about your eyes, you will see later. So there's just too much to say. And then, of course, welcoming Jackie Rocco. Jackie is just the best thing ever. So I just want to say it's my last meeting. I only have 19 seconds left, so not a lot of time, but my last council meeting here. Next council meeting, I may come in January with our new person, but I've created relationships I treasure. Thank you so much for 25 years in West Hollywood. It's been the most important moments in my life have been here, and the relationships I'll treasure forever. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You got to come back for your award, Jen, so I guess we'll see you in March.
I don't believe we have any speakers signed up in Zoom, so we can go straight into our city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Thank you, community members, for your public comment. Tonight, we only have an update from our community safety department and our public safety partners on the work that they've been doing. And so it'll be a very brief, maybe 10-minute update on the overview of some of our community safety projects and programs.
Great. Sorry about the delay. And good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the City Council. I'm Danny Rivas, Director of Community Safety for the city. I'm also joined this evening with various members of our community safety team, our West Hollywood Sheriff Station Captain, Captain Fanny Lapkin. We have our Assistant Division Fire Chief, who serves as our Fire Chief for West Hollywood, Drew Smith. And then we have Anita Shandy, our Public Safety Manager. We also have our General Manager of our Allied Security Services, which provides oversight of our Security Ambassador Program. And then we have Jessica Benitez and Elisa Lopez, who are both Code Enforcement Supervisors in our Neighborhood and Business Safety Division. So essentially, the Community Safety Department does provide public safety services to protect life and property and to improve the quality of life for residents, businesses, and visitors in West Hollywood. So up on the screen is essentially the structure and the representatives that I just explained. This presentation is focused on measurements that were established as a part of the department as part of the current budget cycle that we're in. And in addition to that, you'll see 11 priorities that are outlined as well. Again, all of this information is directly tied to the work plan for the department that highlights, right, what measurements, performance metrics, et cetera, that we are looking to acquire throughout the year, as well as the priorities that each of the functions in the Community Safety Department are focused on. And so for our Neighborhood and Business Safety Division, most community members are accustomed to that being called code compliance, but we did a name change of the division maybe about 2.5 years ago as a part of that process. And so our operations, though, have not changed. And so that includes code enforcement that provides 7-day services, our business license and permitting function, serving as the liaison to the Business License Commission, and it also includes oversight of our animal care and control contract that we have with Los Angeles County. Areas of focus, and you'll see in parentheses for each of these areas of focus, whether or not it's tied to a measurement or whether it's tied to a priority that I mentioned early on. If you see the check mark to the box to the left, that's meaning that we are meeting that. And if you just see the box without the check mark, that means that we are working towards that goal, or we are in progress, or maybe it's something that we haven't yet got to. So you are seeing as a part of our measurement in the Neighborhood and Business Safety Division that maintaining response times is being met. We also are continuing to look at municipal code amendments. We recently did, and I won't say too recent, but we did make an amendment to our vacant property ordinance. And I know our city council is familiar with that because obviously we brought that item forth. And as a part of that item, it included the ability to issue demolition orders as part of vacant properties due to calls for service, and ultimately as it relates to an umbrella right through our public safety agencies. So if our fire department, our sheriff's department, our code enforcement folks are receiving calls for service, then that amendment allows us now to exercise the ability to order a property to be demolished under that. Policy program compliance is currently being met. The focus in code enforcement, in neighborhood and business safety is high on vacant properties as well as short-term rentals, which has been a number of items that have come before council as well. Our licensing, permitting, and code enforcement case management systems, that's something that staff continues to work with our IT division on in terms of making improvements, trying to streamline processes, but ultimately updating our current system from where it currently is right now. Our multifamily proactive inspection pilot program is something that the council provided direction on, and there has been an update earlier this year as a part of the semi-annual community safety update. And so right now we're in our second year of that program. Staff has essentially gone through about 50% of multifamily properties in the city, and we're on track to completing the 4-year cycle. So essentially we got another 2 years to complete the multifamily proactive inspection pilot program, and we'll continue to provide updates to the city council as part of semi-annual updates. Major event compliance, our Neighborhood and Business Safety Division issues special event permits to brick and mortar businesses. Obviously, there are a number of businesses that activate during Pride and Halloween, and so that is what that is referencing, in addition to making sure that businesses close when they're supposed to, that the occupancy levels are being maintained, and so forth, and then trying to do their very best to address any sort of unpermitted street vending or other types of activities that aren't approved. There is a box here that you're seeing on this this page here, the update to park rules. That is a shared responsibility between both neighborhood and business safety and public safety. It is in progress. We've gotten some input and feedback from our city prosecutor's office, and then the next step is we're going to be working with our city attorney's office, holding meetings internally with various different departments, recreation, public works, right? All of the folks that we know have input and feedback or are going to be directly impacted by that. And the idea behind this is to codify this in our municipal code, which it currently is not. Our park rules and regulations are in place and are adopted by resolution, but what we're looking to do is transfer that on over, right, and codify that in the municipal code. Here's a snapshot in terms of calls for service. We did provide data going back to 2019, which is prior to the pandemic. It is a little unusual when you look at other slides as it relates to data. As you'll see in 2020, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, you'll see calls for service drop, but we've seen an increase. And the reason for that is our code enforcement team actually was responding and enforcing various health orders adopted at the time, and we're quite busy. Folks, as we know, were at home and teleworking, et cetera, and so there were a lot of noise-related calls and various calls that code enforcement responded to. You've seen we had our greatest uptick in 2023, but last year we've seen a slight decrease. And then this year's data, what you're seeing year to date, is from actually January to today. So it looks like we're going to be under where we were at for last calendar year. So now as it relates to our public safety division in the community safety department, and so this division is small but very mighty. It has our division manager, emergency management coordinator, and public safety specialists, and they really serve as the liaison and oversight of our contract with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, liaison to the Los Angeles County Fire Department, oversight and contract management to our security ambassador program, serves as a liaison to the Public Safety Commission, and then emergency preparedness both internally within the city with city staff as well as out in the community is their primary focus. That includes also engagement with the community as it relates to liaison and hosting meetings with our neighborhood watch groups, homeowners association boards, and again, providing the training that I mentioned, CERT, which is offered twice a year, CPR, AED first aid training, community academy training that's in partnership with the West Hollywood Sheriff Station, our public safety awards, of course our National Night Out, and we just recently have an active shooter training as well, and any sort of public safety town hall meetings that the community requests or that neighborhood watch groups or homeowners associations invite us to participate in. So their areas of focus, again, tied to measurement and priority, is ensuring that response times with our various public safety agencies, so security ambassadors, West Hollywood Sheriff Station, Fire Department, et cetera, are being met. And we are meeting that, providing major event safety, including event action plans. And so we work with all those partners very closely and spend a significant amount of time ensuring that events and prevention of any sort of activity, right, that is unwanted is addressed and able to be responded to, and that we have a plan for that. Providing emergency preparedness trainings to the community, I mentioned some of those, CERT, AED, first aid training, et cetera. And of course, crime and reporting, so that's working directly with our public safety agency partners. This is provided on a monthly basis to our Public Safety Commission and other commissions and advisory boards, and so making sure that that data is being provided on a monthly basis, timely, and that it's easy to follow and easy to read and able to identify and allow the community to identify trends as well. The local hazard mitigation plan and emergency preparedness training, I think that goes without saying, but that's definitely a priority, and all of these are currently being met. What isn't being met at this time, and these are all in progress, is our unarmed alternative programs. That's relating to our Security Ambassador Program and our Community Safety Officer Program. So as the council is aware, we did a request for proposal process. We selected vendors at that point. We've implemented the Security Ambassador Program, but on the Community Safety Officer side in that program, we're still in the works as a part of that process, and so that's the reason why that box is not checked off. Public safety technology is also something that has come before the City Council several times. So that relates to our Drone as First Responder program that we are currently working with our West Hollywood Sheriff Station and the department as a whole. And so the latest and greatest as it relates to that update is that they are at the 90 percentile rate, if you will, of 100% of coming back and providing us with a draft of what that department policy would look like. I know that they need to get some input and some feedback from the bargaining units within the department as well. And so hopefully we'll be able to receive an update by the end of this month in terms of what that looks like. And so we are eager, of course, to get the Drone as First Responder Program up and running. And so as soon as we hear from the department, Sheriff's Department, on where they're at, and so we're looking at hopefully the first quarter of next calendar year of being able to come back with the City Council with some updates. Our emergency response plans and communication, the Sheriff's, our Public Safety Division, of course, that is a priority for them, working in tangent with our Sheriff Station and our Fire Department as well. In terms of continually updating that, there was a report and update that Community Safety Department was involved with communications in all the departments, and that update, of course, was presented to the City Council this year. So our Security Ambassador Program is a 24/7 operation. With the transition that occurred in October this year, nothing has changed in terms of the level of services that have been provided, aside from the change in uniforms. We did a rebranding of the kiosk that you see out and about. You see the number that we have highlighted in red as well, the 323-848-6500 number, and that provides the ability for folks to call in and also text. The community locations of where you see ambassadors has not changed either. Areas of focus for them is maintaining major event safety, reporting on a monthly basis, ensuring that their ambassadors are trained adequately to the city's expectations, and so all of those are currently being met. The citywide mailer with the magnet, I wanted to highlight that because that was a request that we've heard not only from the City Council but from the Public Safety Commission as well. It is a priority, and I'm happy to report that the mailer should be going out next week, and so folks would be able to replace this new magnet with their older magnet that will highlight that 323-848-6500 number. Maintaining public safety response time for security ambassadors. This is still a work in progress. Under our current agreement, the Security Ambassador Program is expected to respond within 15 minutes. So the bulk of those instances are being met, but there are some instances that we're finding via text message that there is a delay. And so we're continuing to work that with our partners. And so that is why you are not seeing that box checked off. And now with our Los Angeles County Fire Department, we are serviced by Fire Station 7 and 8. I want to say on the east side of the city, obviously, for Fire Station 8, and then Fire Station 7 more towards the west side of the city. It is 24/7 operations, and of course our fire department partners provide services to protect lives, property, and the environment. They do collaborate with our city's Unhoused Services program as well, and are a huge component to our major events and the safety and our event action plans that we bring forth. I don't have a slide as it relates to their calls for service, but I will tell you that looking at the year to date from this year compared to last year, we are over 6,600 calls for service. The bulk of those calls are trending and have always been trending towards medical related calls. So nothing has changed significantly in terms of what we're seeing, what we're observing, and how our firefighters, of course, are responding. And then we have our West Hollywood Sheriff Station. These are the last couple of slides. Of course, the operation 24/7. We have maintained our 3 special teams. So we have a community-oriented policing and problem-solving team, our COPS team. They operate Monday through Friday traditionally or primarily from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I know those aren't their specific hours, but more or less, that's when you typically will see our COPS team. Well, then we have our entertainment policing team deputies, and they operate from Wednesday through Saturday in the later part of the hours, and get off around 4 a.m. And we've also maintained our mental evaluation team. And so West Hollywood continues to be the sole contract city still at this time that is maintaining a mental evaluation team. And that is as a result of there currently being a moratorium still in place that does not allow contract cities to add any additional sworn or non-sworn personnel to their contracts. I know there have been some other contract cities that have expressed interest, of course, of creating their own MET unit, but we are still the only contract city to maintain that. And of course, the major events is a huge component as well of our Emergency Operations Bureau with our Sheriff's Department and our station staff as well that do a great job in terms of providing input and feedback and developing of that event action plan. Areas of focus, you're seeing the bulk of these measurement and priorities that are currently being met. With the incident the tragic incident that occurred in Australia with our Jewish community and the importance, right, and the priority that we provide to our community here. We did develop a Jewish community safety plan. That plan is currently in place. And so deputies are on alert and prioritizing making contact with our Jewish faith groups here in the city of West Hollywood and making sure that additional patrols are occurring. And of course, our crime prevention plan, ensuring that any issues that we're coming across or identifying or seeing on a weekly, monthly basis are being responded to appropriately. So here is our Part 1 crime, which is a huge a factor and priority within our measurement that we decrease our Part 1 crime levels. And these are the serious crimes that every police department and agency supplies to the FBI on a regular basis. And so you can see from 2019 on forth, in 2020 it took a dip. 2022 we definitely seen the highest that we've seen and experienced, but things have continued to trend downwards. Year to date, that does not include the month of December, so we're still 1 month out, but that's 11 months worth, and it certainly looks like, based on the trends that we've seen for this year, that we're going to be actually under where we were at last calendar year. So that is a great testament to the great work that our sheriff station deputies, as well as our security ambassadors, our community members as well, right, that report on suspicious activity, et cetera. And so I just wanted to highlight that as well. Areas of focus, you're seeing all of these boxes are checked off because they're currently being met. And that concludes the presentation and updates for community safety. And we're, of course, happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the council at this time?
Yeah.
Councilman Erickson?
Thank you so much for that report, and thank you for all the proactive work you're doing. I had the great chance to do a ride-along most recently with Grigor right there. No, I don't know why he's here. Maybe he wants to keep an eye on me, but no, I'm joking. But and I just want to say I really want to thank the deputies for the advanced knowledge and attention they've been providing to the community. I also publicly want to shout out my friend over there because I have never seen a deputy who knows every individual on our streets, who connects with them, and who provides care and compassion and connects them with services. And I know that's the type of work you all promote, and I'm really thankful for that personally, especially during really trying times. In terms of the ongoing incidents, many of which were alluded here today by some of our public commenters, have you been getting any more calls, or have you been in direct contacts with Temple Colamy or other individuals to make sure that we're proactively doing everything we can? I think I know the answer, but just for the public certainty, that'd be great. I don't remember, and maybe the mayor does or someone does, when the Chabad lighting is, but wanted to make sure we're in touch with Rabbi Morty to make sure that he knows, because that's a very highly visible event at the location. I won't say publicly, but it's available if people want to go look. But I just want to make sure we're being as proactive as we can, especially during heightened times of hatred and target attacks on our communities.
Absolutely. One of the things, like Director Rivas has mentioned, the Jewish safety plan. So on the onset of the unfortunate tragedy in Australia, we implemented that. So our deputies increased the patrol checks to all of our Jewish organizations and our schools. As a matter of fact, today they were at one of our schools, welcoming the kids, and the rabbis and the parents were extremely grateful to see the deputies there. But that's a plan that we initiate the minute that's something that happens. So we increase our patrol checks. We have deputies park in certain locations if they need to write a report, so that the community feels that they're safe. And there are no threats here, in our city, or I know that the FBI put something else on coming out for New Year's. Just, have the community be safe, that there are no threats in our city and also in the Sheriff's Department jurisdiction. So, but we have crime analysts that throughout the department that scour the internet and all the different platforms that we have to see if there are any threats, and that's something that we put out to our community to increase our patrol checks.
Have we been able, thank you very much for that. Have we been able to, or I'm guessing we have, reached out to all of our nightlife, bar, restaurant owners, especially along the Strip, to make sure that they're keenly aware of what's going on, especially going to the holidays and the New Year's? I know sometimes our city dips in attendance for nightlife activity. Doesn't feel that way if you've driven down. But specifically, are we in proactive touch with them? Are they aware that, keeping your cameras on and everything else so that way we can have more eyes on the streets?
And those are things that we communicate with them even without any heightened threats. So our entertainment policing team, they actually conduct footbeats and check in with management and security staff there to see if there's any issues that they have, and they exchange phone numbers, they exchange information, and we do. I mean, we rely, like Danny said, we rely on our community because we can't do it alone. So we rely on the business owners. So if they see any trends or if they see any, suspicious individuals, they know that they have to call us so that we can flesh that out, so we can figure out whether or not there's a threat or not. But no, yes, our entertainment policing and our patrol deputies are in constant contact with them.
Great. And the last thing I'm saying, and this is not planned, I apologize, but I've been seeing an alarming amount of traffic collisions on everyone's favorite street, Fountain Avenue. Alarming to the point where even I'm going, what are people drinking? It's in the water. We saw something at 6 in the morning on Fountain Avenue when I was doing my ride along where half of a car was taken out. Half of a car. I don't know what they were doing at 6 a.m., but I know I've expressed this to you privately, but publicly I know people have been reaching out to me, but are we looking at increasing, I know you're doing the proactive drinking and driving campaign as you always do, but I'm asking you a big question here, but what's going on? How can we help patrol more in that area? But I have a lot of residents coming up to me going, look, we've lived here for 30 years and it's always, bad. But it seems like people are like, I'm not going to get in an accident on Santa Monica right now. I'm going to drive up to Fountain and do it. It's been really wild. I don't know if my colleagues read, we all read the reports, regardless how we feel. It's a lot.
So I do want to make sure we stay higher level because we don't have any individual projects or programs agendized for this item. It's supposed to be a high-level overview of what the department's doing. So Fanny can certainly answer, but I just want to make sure that we stay very high level and not focus on particular areas or sites.
So I'll rephrase my question per David's direction. As his last meeting, geez Louise, things he give. Could you explain why everyone's losing their minds on our streets of the city of West Hollywood in the last couple of months in a very broad, open-ended way?
So all I can tell you is that it doesn't matter the date or time, or it's inattention. Drivers are not paying attention. It's not, speed has not been a factor, it's been inattention, failing to change lanes, not looking before turning onto a crosswalk. I mean, those have been from seeing the reports, but it's not, like you could see from the Public Safety Commission report that we sent out, 61 total citations in Fountain, but 88 overall traffic collisions. So we continue to enforce, we focus on specific street, but I can't give you a reason, because it does. If I could tell you it's only happening at night, then we can focus, but it's throughout the day, and unfortunately it's a lack of attention. At the end of the day, it's a car traveling and wants to make a left, and the vehicle behind them doesn't check. It doesn't look at the distance. I mean, I can go on those, but those are, so that's the only trend, is the lack of attention from our drivers.
Great. And my last question, and the mayor's going to kill me, but because I said I want to be done by 7, but it's 7:10, is have you been issuing a lot of citations in regards to people when they're driving, touching their phones? Have you been noticing an uptick on that at all?
I don't have the answer to that, but let me double check on that, and I can present that. I don't have an answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to Councilmember Hang.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Director Rivas, for the very robust presentation. I wanted to say thank you. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, a lot of the businesses in the Rainbow District reached out to me. They were concerned with crime on the streets, with people being overserved and over-intoxicated, causing fights in the middle of the street. So we had a call with yourself and the assistant city manager, and thank you for increasing the foot beats. The business owners have called me. They have said that there are deputy sheriffs going into their businesses to talk to the managers. What's going on? Is everything okay? So your presence is noted on Santa Monica Boulevard. So thank you so much for all that. And thank you for keeping our community safe. I do appreciate seeing the statistics that crime is going down, and I hope that continues. And thank you. That's all.
Councilmember Meister.
Thank you. So in your report, I didn't see anything about the communications. We were looking at, it was a couple of years ago, talking about getting a communications person, a non-sworn, for the local station. I just wondered what the status was on that.
Yeah, and I'll let if Captain Lapkin has anything to add. So the moratorium that I mentioned that the Sheriff's Department has been exercising with all the contract cities, right, us included, prevents us from adding any non-sworn. So originally when we did bring this to council, the thought was that we were going to be able to bring on a PIO of some sort, right, or a community liaison that would be a non-sworn position. And that's just not something, with our discussions with the Sheriff's Department that they're able to provide us at this time, let alone, a sworn deputy as well. And so right now we're at a standstill. We did have a law enforcement technician, which is a non-sworn position, assisting with that effort, along with our sergeant of one of our special teams. That wasn't the primary function, of course, but it was just to kind of assist, get some information out on social media, be a little more present on social media, being able to send out NICS alerts, et cetera, right, in a timely manner. And so been trying to work that through the best that we can in terms of working with the sheriff's station. But of course, we don't want to take away or pull from their primary duties as well. And so it's really been juggling in terms of doing that. But in terms of like hiring a dedicated person, the reason why we haven't been able to do that is because of the moratorium in place.
Okay, so since we end up paying for it anyway, maybe there is something we can do in the new year where our staff, and I'm not sure if that would be communications or public safety, can take on some of that role if it's appropriate. Because we're paying for it we would be paying for it anyway if that staff person was there at the sheriff's station. So whether we pay for it with them there or we have a civilian person here working at the city, that's something to think about. The other thing I wanted to bring up is that we know that there's always an uptick of crime during the holidays. So I just wanted to mention that and make sure that we're doing whatever we need to do.
So we do,
prevent
just
that?
to, we have a holiday car that's going to be focused on patrolling during business hours on the major business thoroughfares. So that holiday car is going to be vigilant in parking lots, because that's what we see. Unfortunately, we see the vehicle, the vehicle thefts, the thefts of property, packages, that kind of stuff in the vehicles, because they're visible in their vehicles. And those are the things that these deputies are going to be trying to address when they see individuals leaving packages that are visible in their backseat of their vehicles, or people that go shopping, drop all their packages in the trunk of their car. People are constantly watching. So if we recommend that you don't do that, and if you do, move your vehicle so nobody sees where you park. But again, parking is an issue, but we are focusing on the major businesses, and the holiday car is going to be working during the business hours.
Well, what I've seen in the past is an uptick of residential burglaries.
Okay.
So in the past, during the holiday season. So it would be great if we had increased visibility of patrol cars in our residential areas.
I'll go back to Councilmember Hang.
Thank you, Mayor. Director Rivas, obviously our community, anti-Semitism is on the rise everywhere. When will the city reevaluate the Jewish safety plan? Because there's other organizations other than Kolami. We have Jindi Mimamotas, that's an elementary school here. So that, it is pretty scary out there. Do we know when we're gonna revisit that plan, maybe update it to further protect our community members?
We look at updating, I'm sorry, I'm gonna add to this, because we update it every year. So January, it's something that, as a matter of fact, I spoke to the sergeant earlier today, that's something that we look at every year. We contact every organization, make sure that the contacts are still the same, make sure that the emails are still the same. So every year is something that we update. We update the dates of the holidays, so that when the deputies have to look at that Jewish plan, they have all the most current information. So it's something that we'll have to update.
Thank you. And so I'm hoping there will be a continued presence,
Yes.
not just when there's high holy days of obligation.
No, absolutely.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Heilman.
Yeah, I want to echo Councilmember Hang's thank you for all of your work all year long. I just hope that you will be able to give us an update at some point on the status of the drones and the security cameras. So when you have that information, if you can provide that to the council, it would be really useful. Thank you.
We do have comments from a member of the public, David Eckert. I'll bring you to the mic.
Good evening, David Eckert once again. Just a comment on the security ambassadors, just a comment and maybe a suggestion for further safety for the ambassadors and for the public. I was wondering if the kiosks, it gets dark very early, and many of these kiosks, the poor ambassadors are standing in the dark. You can't see them whatsoever. I don't know if there's a way we can get some light to them. Also, if the vinyls on those kiosks could be changed over to reflective vinyl that you can actually read the numbers at night, might be a little helpful for the community. And then with the Jewish community, I don't know if any of those kiosks can be moved in front of the synagogues and things as a proactive measure just for safety and concerns at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Meister.
I appreciate David's comments, but I can tell you that, for example, Maimonides, I did see a patrol car there this morning. I don't know if it was the sheriff or LAPD, since they're in both cities, but they have security. A lot of the places do have their own security as well that should be working, in conjunction with you. And at Maimonides, their security has guns. So.
Thank you. I want to comment, response. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for this update. I know this is part of what the city manager had brought forward as part of regularly scheduled department updates. But can you remind us of when the next regularly scheduled community safety update will also take place?
Absolutely, Mayor. It'll be the first meeting in February. I have to look at the calendar, but we're definitely shooting for that. And the reason why is because we want to give our public safety agencies enough time to close out the end of the year with the statistics, et cetera. And so we will be presenting the next semi-annual and having updates and responses to the comments made.
Terrific. So the community can look forward to February 2nd, I think, is that first meeting in February. I know last year it took place the same night that I was sworn in as mayor on top of the fires happening. So there was a lot going on that night. But looking forward to that more full update taking place. And thank you all so much for a really tremendous year of work. I know as council we get the regular updates. And what I'm really moved by is these incidents happen, the robberies, burglaries, but we see the follow through and that your detectives are truly doing the work, finding these people, apprehending them, putting them through the process. So that has given me real strength that this is working. With unfortunate incidents happen, and we're on the downside of that happening, but that the work all the way through is really there. And so I just want to really give kudos to the detectives at the LA Sheriff's Department, but also the fire department for what a tremendous year you have all taken on. And we know in many ways the wins are still to come for this region. So just again, thank you so much for all the diligent and hard work you do on behalf of this community. We appreciate you so much. Okay, with that, I think that concludes our city manager's report. We will go to the fiscal impact on the consent calendar, and during this time, I'll also make sure our city attorney has a chance to read those terms of the contract into the record. City clerk, we'll go to you first.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. The fiscal impact on tonight's consent calendar, with the addition of items F1, F2, and F3, is $17,329,755 in expenditures, $0 in revenue, and $0 in waived fees.
Terrific.
Thank you. With approval of the agenda, item F1 was also moved to the consent calendar, which would include appointment of city manager and adoption of an employment agreement for the new city manager upon City Manager Wilson's retirement. So before you vote on it, I just have to read the terms of the agreement into the record. The agreement would take effect January 8th, 2026. The term would be for 24 months with a renewal of 12 months beginning available on January 8th, 2028. The salary would be $368,500 with cost of living increase provided annually and a discretionary 5% annual increase. There will be no change to the CalPERS terms because Ms. Rocco is a long-term city employee. Same with the benefits, vacation, and sick leave, except for an additional city manager life insurance policy. The deferred compensation will be 3% of the base salary. Auto and business expense reimbursement, $250 a month, which is no change for the current employment. Cell phone allowance, $100 a month, also no change, and a severance of 6 months. And those would be the terms of the employment agreement if you approve it on consent.
And we have a motion and a second to adopt the consent calendar.
And the consent calendar passes 5-0, noting the no vote of Councilmember Meister on item B7.
Thank you. And an official congratulations to Jackie Rocco. We will go to item C1, the first of 2 public hearings. These are public hearings brought on urgency ordinance. So we'll have the first reading. And as Vice Mayor always reminds us, these are things the state is basically making us do. So we don't need too much or any presentation at all, maybe just a quick sentence of what we're doing here in that regard. But I'll officially open the public hearing, C1, urgency ordinance and first reading of an ordinance adopting the reference titles 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 33 of the Los Angeles County Municipal Code, incorporating the California State Building Code standards. Are there any disclosures from council members? No? Okay. City Clerk, how was this hearing noticed?
As required by law.
We have our staff representatives here. I'll turn it over to you quickly.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, and community. Nick Marisich, Director of Community Development. I'm joined by Jennifer Alkire, our Assistant Director, and Ben Galan, our Building and Safety Manager, also the city's building official, who will be providing the overview. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Byers, Vice Mayor Hellman, and City Council. Again, my name is Ben Galan. I'm the Building and Safety Manager. The item before you is a routine code adoption. Every 3 years, the state updates and adopts new building codes because our city is also serviced by the County of Los Angeles. West Hollywood also adopts the county amendments to the state codes. Traditionally, the Board of Supervisors adopts their amendments a few weeks before the new code becomes effective on January 1st. Their recent amendments were adopted on November 25th. This code cycle, the division is introducing an administrative amendment to the expiration period of plan check applications. Currently, the building code requires applicants to pull permits within 12 months of their project submittal, or either their application expires or they're required to pay extension fees. Applicants have been experiencing review delays with our outside agency partners, and this amendment will extend the expiration period from 12 months to 18 months. The amendment will benefit our homeowners, developers, and businesses experiencing prolonged reviews by utilities and county agencies. Due to the county's year-end adoption, the city is faced with very short time period to update its building and municipal code and have them ready for enforcement by January 1st. Staff requests that City Council approve the urgency ordinance 25-25U, adopting reference Title 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 33 of the LA County Municipal Code, incorporate the California State Building Standards Code, and introduce for first reading ordinance 25-26. Thank you, and we're open for any questions.
Thank you. I don't see any questions from the council, and I don't see any members of the public who wish to speak, so I will go ahead and close the public testimony portion of this public hearing. And we do have a motion to adopt in a second. Was there any other questions? I think we're ready to move forward with the vote then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will actually just quickly say, in seeing some of the progress in Culver City on single staircase policy that they were able to move forward with because they are outside of the county building codes, I want to continue our city's advocacy for these issues, and we'll make sure that in this coming year we're submitting a letter of advocacy to the county for these measures that I think we would want to see at the city level. I know Culver City was able to do it themselves. Santa Monica found a different method. I know we were working to see what might be possible here in our city, and the county's building codes that we're having to adopt are restrictive in that way. So that's a piece of advocacy I just want to name here, make sure we can continue. But other than that, that has nothing really to do with this, just the circumstances. So thank you for letting me say that. We'll go to the vote.
Does the motion include closing the public hearing?
That's right.
Thank you. And the motion passes 5-0, and the urgency ordinance will go into effect on January 1st, 2025, and we will come back for a second reading at the next meeting.
Thank you. We'll go to our next public hearing, item C2, another urgency ordinance and first reading. I'll turn this back over to Director Marisic. The public hearing is now open, and I don't believe there are any disclosures from this council? Nope. Okay. And City Clerk, will you let us know how this hearing is noticed?
Yes, Mayor, as required by law.
All right, over to you, Director Marisic.
Good evening again, Mayor, Council. I'm joined by Francisco Contreras, our long-range planning manager, and Adria Stauber, assistant planner, who will be giving the presentation for this item. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, and members of the public. I'll try to keep this short. The item before you this evening is a zone text amendment to update West Hollywood zoning code in accordance with state laws, which amend existing ADU and JADU regulations. This CTA is a technical update. The item does not create or cite new programs, and it updates the zoning frameworks that our land use regulations reflect current state mandates. So I can do just a really quick, brief overview. Earlier this year, the City Council did approve 2 ordinances of a similar state to comply with state ADU law. As required by the state, the staff then submitted the newly adopted ordinance to HCD within 60 days for their review. In late 2025, 4 new bills were signed by the governor, and these bills have the potential to make our local ADU ordinance null and void if the city is not in compliance by January 1st, 2026. AB 462 is the urgency measure. It includes requirements for processing coastal development permits for ADUs in the coastal zone, and it also includes allows a detached ADU to receive a certificate of occupancy before the primary dwelling under certain emergency conditions. AB 1154 updates regulations specific to junior ADUs. SB 9 and 543 strengthen HCD's authority to review local ordinances and also imposing penalties on noncompliance. and SB 543 mandates specific changes to ADU laws, a few listed here. So our staff recommends that City Council adopt the urgency ordinance and introduce on first reading an ordinance amending the Chapter 19.36 of the West Hollywood Municipal Code regarding ADU and JADU regulations. The proposed update will essentially just bring the city's ADU ordinance into compliance with HCD, and will also formally resubmit to HCD to bring once council has adopted it.
Thank you. I don't see any questions from the council, and there are no public commenters signed up to speak at this time. Vice Mayor Heilman?
Yes, I made the motion that we close the public
Thank you.
hearing, adopt the urgency ordinance, and also introduce on first reading the regular ordinance. What? Yes, that was included.
And the motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. We will move to our unfinished business, item E1, the economic impact analysis of major special events in the city of West Hollywood. I'll give our staff team a few minutes to get settled, and then they can take it away with the presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the City Council. I'm Laura Byrie, Director of Economic Development for the City of West Hollywood. I do apologize, I have strained my vocal cords, so I'm going to be deferring this presentation over to Paolo Kesperdet, who is our Business Development Manager. He is also joined by our consultants from Civil Economics, and we also have several of our staff that helped contributed to this cross-departmental team effort for this study joining us in the audience today. Paolo, I will let you and your much stronger vocal cords take it from here.
Thank you so much. Hello, Paulo Kesperdet, Business Development Manager here for the City of West Hollywood. I will be doing tonight's presentation, which is a report from Civil Economics of the city's major events in calendar year 25. Those events include the Mishka Festival, WeHo Pride, AIDS Walk, and also the Halloween Carnival. So today's presentation will consist of an overview, looking at the economic impact, the net fiscal benefit, the city's brand, and the business community and its benefits, as well as some recommendations. Okay, so at a high level, the events that the civil team looked at estimated 379,000 attendees who generated approximately $93.7 million in direct spending across Los Angeles County, and also supporting 993 jobs in Los Angeles County. There was a significant economic activity across a few key sectors, including food and beverage at $41.6 million, hospitality and lodging at $26.2 million, and retail at $11.8 million. And this slide here shows some of the community engagement and business engagement that was conducted as part of the study. There were 2,800 event intercept surveys where we had people out in the field conducting surveys with people who attended the event, 4 business and resident surveys, 8 on-site visits with our business task force, our business improvement districts, our commissions and advisory boards, the West Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, as well as Visit West Hollywood. 17 business interviews by industries, and finally some document reviews which consisted of staff reports that were conducted from 2016 to 2025, the WeHo 40 strategic plan, and the economic study, which both were approved last year. So this slide here shows just an overview of the City of West Hollywood with the 4 major events outlined here on the screen, with AIDS Walk, WeHo Pride, and Halloween Carnival being focused within the Rainbow District area, and then Mishka Festival focused at Plummer Park on the east side. This slide here shows the overall attendee direct spending that happened. And so that means it's a comprehensive measure of all the attendee related expenditures. So when we talk about attendee expenditure, that's something that can occur both within the City of West Hollywood, but also outside of the City of West Hollywood during the event. So attendees' direct spending from WeHo Pride, as you see on the screen here, was approximately $56 million. And Halloween Carnival was $37 million, with that general number that was on the lower right-hand side of the screen at $93.7 million, with approximately 379,000 attendees. So this slide looks at the total economic impact of those 4 major events that we looked at. You'll see 3 different categories on here: employment for jobs, labor income, and the value added. And within each of those categories, we have the direct, indirect, and induced items. So the direct is what gets affected in West Hollywood. The indirect and induced is what happens outside of the city of West Hollywood, so the county mainly, and across the region. So for employment, there was an estimated 993 jobs supported across the county, including 727 jobs within the city of West Hollywood, and 266 indirect and induced jobs across the regional economy. For labor, the combined events generated roughly $53.3 million in total labor income, including $33.5 million earned directly by workers in West Hollywood, and $19.8 million from indirect and induced efforts from the larger LA area. For value add, in WeHo Pride and Halloween Carnival, these events contributed $88.2 million in value added total. Of that, the attendee spending contributed $52.8 million to West Hollywood, with another $35.4 million produced through spillover activity across the county. This slide here looks at the net fiscal benefit of that. So we're taking a look at our revenues, which primarily for our major events are our TOT, or transit occupancy tax, and sales tax, and then expenditures. So whenever the city is producing an event through event programming, that might be public safety or any type of event cleanup associated with that. So these 4 signature events generated about $902,000 in general fund revenue through TOT and sales tax, compared to the city's total cost of $8 million, which results in a net fiscal cost of $7.1 million. And so as you can see here, the percentage of expenditures, Halloween Carnival achieved the highest cost recovery rate at 18%, while WeHo Pride was in second at 10%. I think it should be noted that the events that any municipality puts on is not supposed to be typically a cost-neutral one-for-one exchange, but there's definitely a lot of benefits associated with that, which will go on the next slide. So as mentioned, the city's investment in these events solves multiple public objectives, including some social and community development, some business development and economic activity associated with that, and also just generally the city's brand recognition and reputation. In addition to that, these major events really do support the city's already adopted plans, including the WeHo 40 strategic plan, as well as the economic study, which really focuses on prioritizing community, placemaking, and economic development, which these events all do. And these events generate substantial media coverage. In 2025, the events produced billions of media impressions, which equated to about $16 million in media value for the city. And if the city were to purchase, let's say, $16 million in ad revenue, that wouldn't equate to the same amount of eyes. So certainly this is something that our major events are unique in producing and doing here for the city and its brand work. Next, as we look at just kind of some also the other benefits from a business and community side, our business community also reports increased sales during these major events, particularly during WeHo Pride and Halloween Carnival, with businesses reporting that they're adding shifts or they're at capacity. This is in line with some of the work that we did during the Rainbow District outreach that was conducted, where we asked businesses what would be helpful, and major events was certainly one of those. This increased revenue and volume during these events helps sustain businesses during maybe some of the slower times of the year that they might experience. Also, we've targeted through community and stakeholder feedback that these events are meaningful in strengthening these local connections, with 93% of stakeholders agreeing that major events strengthen community connections. And although the city doesn't realize the full recovery on the days that these events are being conducted, there is an important piece with the marketing that where media coverage and the visitor experience influence future travel decisions, and so that these produce benefits beyond this current calendar year that we looked at it, and are more sustained for the longer term period of time. And so as we move on to the recommendations, these were provided by the civil economics team. They've conducted work for various municipalities to take a look at what the city could potentially do to either increase revenue or provide just some general recommendations. First is establish a unified event typology for strategic alignment. And what that means is the city does a lot of events. We do events from our large major events to community, specific events to cultural events. And so how do we deploy resources that are in line with those type of category events? How do we streamline services, and how do we produce some KPIs that'll let the city know whether or not some of the events are giving a good return back on some of this information? Next would be explore a centralized citywide sponsorship strategy. Currently, how our sponsorship structure works is that each event, it works on its own kind of sponsorship. And so centralizing that in one area, maybe a brand sponsor wants to come and dive all the way into West Hollywood, and so we can provide them an opportunity at WeHo Pride, at Halloween Carnival, at maybe a recreation division specific event, something that they can cater to that particular brand. And third is consider a trademark and brand strategy, a brand licensing strategy. So as mentioned, West Hollywood's name has a very big brand. And certainly our logo, Halloween Carnival, and WeHo Pride specifically also have very big brand names. And so being able to capitalize that monetarily will help kind of provide a new revenue source for the city. And so with that, that ends our report. Staff is here and also the civil team is here if there are any questions the council should have.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I don't see any members of the public signed up to speak, so we can just get into our comments and deliberations. I saw Vice Mayor Heilman, you put your name up first. I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Paolo. Thank you, Laura. Thank you to the consultants. I just had 3 or 4 things that I want to mention. One, it sounds like for our major events, Halloween and Pride, that there are real opportunities for us to increase West Hollywood hotel usage by visitors. So that may be something that needs to be included in your upcoming work plan. I noted that one of the concerns of the business community was delivery routes when Santa Monica Boulevard is closed. So making sure that our businesses are able to get deliveries of goods and they're able to deliver as well. So maybe working with the business community on that. The big events result, at least in some businesses, turning away customers. And maybe this is an opportunity for us to work with some of those businesses in finding additional space or utilizing additional space or converting street space as has been done on other occasions. So I'm hoping that that can be part of what you're looking at. I fully support the citywide sponsorships. I think that's a missing piece in terms of getting outside dollars to support our events. And then finally, I think maybe we need to, I know you wanted to compare to the 2014 study, maybe we need to look at what events should be included as part of this going forward, because obviously the Mishka event is a very small, more community-focused event, although it does attract a lot of people from outside of West Hollywood. Maybe that is, it should be included, but there are other events in the city that are comparable in terms of size that it might be interesting to look at how do those compare to that scale of event. So those were my only thoughts, but thank you for the report.
Councilmember Meister, we'll go to you.
Yep. I'll add that I don't really understand why the AIDS Walk is included in that, and I don't, just based on the numbers that we saw, I don't know that it needs to be part of, moving forward in terms of surveys or whatever, looking at it, because we don't really, it's not really our event, and it doesn't look like we spend much money on it, and it doesn't look like there's, that there's ways that we can leverage it like we can the other two events. What I thought was missing in terms of the recommendations was looking at the business survey overall assessment and the items that the business community brought up when asked what single change could most increase economic benefits next year. So you have public safety, marketing, local regulatory conditions, operational conditions, and I think, those are some things that need to be incorporated into this. And then I kind of wanted to go back to I'm sorry, I have to find it, the memo that was sent to us with the previous results from the other study. Just bear with me a second. So I guess in terms of a comparison with the previous study, I kind of want to understand from your perspective if we learned anything new, that we didn't know from the previous study and from what was it, 2015, 2014. I mean, I saw a lot of the same results. So I just wondered if we learned anything new in this particular study, and are we surprised at any of the differences, if there are some differences between the earlier survey and this one?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question, Councilmember Meister. Definitely, we did learn some things in regards to the 2014 to the 2025 study. One, it was done 10 years ago when the modeling was a little different for some of these events. For example, WehoPride was LA Pride back in the day, and the modeling structure in which the city's production was a little different compared to those. So we are seeing, people are coming out for WehoPride and Halloween Carnival still. We are seeing that people are spending more from the 2014 numbers that were conducted in the previous study, and there are more jobs being having a direct impact as a result from that. I think, the recommendations that Civil provided are probably the biggest learning components of that, looking at the sponsorship, looking at the event typology, as well as looking at the trademarking associated with that, just to look at some additional revenue sources for the city as we continue to produce events that get international traction.
And looking at the memo, and it's page 6 of the PDF that was sent to us. I'm looking at the differences between 2014 and 2025 spending per attendee. They're fairly significant, but I would imagine that some of this is due to inflation. But I thought it was interesting that the Halloween Carnival, the difference, it was really significant compared to the other 3 events. You have spending per attendee at $45 at Halloween Carnival in 2014, and in 2025 it was $225. And I'm wondering what part of that was the ticketing prices.
Well, when it comes to Halloween Carnival in particular, this year it was held on a Friday. And so having it held on a day where it's a weekend, more people are likely to come and spend more money. I believe the one in 2014 was held on a weekday. I don't know exactly what weekday it was. I can go double check the files, but that is part of what is leading to increased spending.
Did the spending per attendee include tickets that were purchased, if they purchased a ticket to be able to enter into the...
Oh, for WehoPride?
Yeah.
Oh, I will have Adam from Civil Economics go ahead and respond to that question.
We are talking about Pride, not Halloween.
Well, now I moved quickly to Pride.
Sure.
So my question was that with regard to WehoPride and looking at the difference between 2014 and 2015, is tickets included in that cost per attendee in your calculations?
We don't specifically ask if they are buying a ticket. It's everyone where we position the intercept surveys, so it's their total spend that's basically remaining. So we asked them a series of categorical questions: leisure, hospitality, hotel, food and beverage, retail, and then anything remaining they'll put into a miscellaneous category. It's a very truncated survey, so it could, in the way they respond, include a ticket, yes.
Okay, and then I'll go back to Halloween Carnival.
Yep.
That difference between 45 and 225, when the others aren't just, they're more, but it's not as significant an increase. And I'm just curious of what you think.
My best guess is that for this year's report, this is the largest, I would say, globally in terms of Pride, especially a data collection effort. So I think the sample size was quite a bit smaller in the 2014 survey. It was a very small intercept survey. So my guess is there might have been some kind of variables that weren't picked up in the smaller footprint. I think we're pretty comfortable, given the larger sample size, that the spend has just shifted. I would also imagine, we looked at a few correlated variables. There was the way ride shares were venture backed at the time. They didn't pass along the actual cost. And my guess is there's probably some weirdness around the transportation reporting, just because those were below market value back in 2014 for the attendees, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, knowing how much rideshare costs this year, just going from Westbourne to the hotel was like $20 one way. So yeah, I could see where that would be something. And then my last question is, how many actual business people did you talk to? Because I was confused whether it was 17 or it was 17 per industry.
So there's a difference between the interviews and the folks that wanted to do a digital survey. So each of you'll see in the column where we were at bids, Chamber of Commerce, those meetings where there's multiple sectors and businesses, those were conversations, and some of those were one-on-one interviews. Each of those folks had an opportunity to do the digital survey. That was a mixed set of feedback on if they wanted to report out for various reasons digitally and kind of have that captured, or if they wanted to do anonymous conversations in the one-on-one. I would say across each of these sectors, it was probably, I would say 45, I don't have that number in front of me, of different individual businesses with individual feedback. I would say there was two sets of feedback criteria that kind of fell out. You see in the report, given the scope of work that was contracted for, was system-wide reporting. We had a lot of very specific event-specific, like this went wrong with the very specific logistics. That didn't get put in because we were running out of pages in it. That wasn't in the specific scope, but we do have that available. So you're getting a readout on things that are like system-wide sets of questions on special events and event activation.
Okay, thank you.
Did you want to share that?
Well, the numbers seem strange to me for 2014 Halloween because that was the year it rained.
It was a Friday. But
it was a Friday night, but it rained. So I think we probably need to look at those numbers again in terms of attendance.
Councilmember Hang.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the report. As I mentioned to you during my call with you, I think it's incredible that just two events had brought 379,000 people to West Hollywood. That accounted for 99%. Generated revenue of 93.7 million, of which 88 million went to the county or went to surrounding region. Like I mentioned during the call, I think those areas they should give us a basket of muffins for that, because we definitely helped them with that. So thank you. And I wanted to commend your team. I was at the Mishka Festival. As I said during the call, your consultants cornered me and my partner. We filled out the surveys. We were very happy to do so, and we look forward to filling out the next ones. Thank you.
Councilmember Erickson.
The data must be skewed. I can only imagine. Like, I don't know who's filling out this survey. I'm not involved with the city at all. That's great. I love it. I love being a secret shopper. It's fun. Thank you so much for this report. I really want to thank you for the work that you put into it. A couple of things that I was looking at that I want to just piggyback off of. The vacant lot activation is really critical, especially in our beautiful Rainbow District. I will say I had a fun time dancing in the lot where Beaches was during Halloween, but other activations like that can use that space. It's a parking lot, it just sits there. I know Beaches and other businesses are always looking for something to do outside. Not right now, maybe, it's a little chilly, heat lamps go far, but those opportunities can be used, as well as activations on streets that really, you know, for lack of a better word, you know, between Gym Bar and Bank of America, you know, it's a tight street. There's a lot of people there. It oftentimes sees a lot of high traffic and cars are trying to turn right or residents. However, we could maybe shut down that street on high visibility nights, would allow Gym Bar and other bars to expand and use street opportunities. I'm not saying Robertson Lane 2.0, but I'm not saying Robertson Lane 2.0. I see Councilmember Meister give me the look. But additionally, how we could utilize some of those spaces just once in a while to promote business space in the way that they can. Allows for those sponsorships. I would love, and I kind of talked about this with a few individuals before, I would love for Halloween to be longer. These events should not end at 11. I mean, people are still like saying, I'm coming out to West Hollywood at 11 o'clock, right? I know, I wasn't, I was at home, well, a little bit after midnight, but I think that especially on weekend events, Fridays, Saturdays, having Halloween go a little bit longer makes sense because people, as I think one of my colleagues mentioned, are trying to get into the businesses and they're busy and they can't, but they're all out there dealing with, you know, wonderful costumes in every way. So I would like to see that as a potential, and I think that brings in more revenue or allows us more flexibility. Additionally, you know, Pride is another one, how we can continue to use that space or activate that space for a longer duration is good. I know I remember when I was mayor, and I think it was Kylie Minogue on Sunday, and you know, I said, one more song, and they said, David said no, and I said, who's David Wilson? I've never heard of him before, but you know, you're good, you have 3 members of the council up here, no violation of the Brown Act. But I say that if we have, and we always do have an amazing act in whatever way, you know, that flexibility. Our neighborhoods, we ask them for grace a couple of times a year, maybe more, some of them would argue, but you know, that economic boom to the industry will help, and how we can continue to promote carless streets and the ways that people love walking and coming about here. And it is a walkable city in that way where people know, if you want to get in your car, that's, you know, you're either going to pay, and I know Councilmember Meister says this, $20, $35 at the PDC to park, or you can walk and, you know, or take ride share safely. So how we can continue to do stuff like Ciclovia, but other spaces like that, bring in a lot of activation for our businesses. So those are just a few of my suggestions, long-term planning. I see my friends Cleo and Meg over there going, Halloween later, what? Let's start talking about it. The meeting's probably tomorrow, being scheduled right now. But I just think that when I hear from businesses, they would like things to go a little bit longer just to help them in that way. And again, Paula, Laura, your entire team, I mean, you all work so hard with everything you do with our business community. I really see it. You respond to the smallest to the largest business with vigor and just true passion. And I just want to thank you from this dais for all the work that you do and everyone on your amazing team.
Thank you. Thank you all for this report. I think it's really exciting to have a clearer sense of what we are investing in when it comes to these events and what the return looks like. And it is really incredible. I hear the opportunity to maybe review other events in the future, seeing, you know, Sunset Strip doesn't have an event reflected here, and knowing that our hotels are really a part of the economic engine of the city, connecting those dots feels really important. I'm wondering already, with so many major events happening, you know, in the next 3 years, how we can promote early some of the major, you know, West Hollywood events in the hotels, remind people that if they loved their stay, here's a great reason to come back later. It seems clear that a lot of the events that we have right now are serving the region really well, but bridging to the broader community, getting people to travel and come to West Hollywood to be a part of these events is part of what will help fuel this economic engine. I'm also recognizing ways that we can piggyback off of existing event structures. I know the cannabis community has tried and sometimes struggled to always build their special event around some of these events, but finding the ways that we can make those links happen feels important. I skipped one note of mine, but in the interest of thinking about sunsets, opportunities, similarly, the Art Walk and Design Week feel like a tremendous opportunity where we're probably naturally leaning into a more international audience, an audience that's certainly coming to think about a different level of economic investment in the city and the resources that are available here. So I'd be really curious about that, and I know they're moving to later in the year next year. But ultimately, hearing that there are opportunities ahead for us to enable stronger partnerships through brand sponsorships and communicate, I think, what the real value of these events are to the community is tremendously exciting. And the last note, I think, because the data on transportation may not be totally clear to me, I think that the takeaway is finding more opportunities that we can leverage public transportation systems, connecting, our city line to the red line, getting people to not have to invest in that ride share, although ride share is better than driving their own personal vehicle, but will keep a little bit of extra money in their pocket that they may be more willing to spend here. I recognize that this report is about capturing the total economic investment, and that investing in that ride share is part of that, but I know our businesses would probably be happy to have those dollars on their bar tops instead. So I just thank you all so much for the work on this. It definitely helps tell the story of what we're investing in as a city in really clear ways to the business community, especially when they ask us what we're doing as a city, that we can point to this is tremendous. And I think it gives us a lot of great roadmaps ahead for how we can strengthen our events programs here. So I appreciate you all so much. And thank you to the consultant team who's a part of this work as well. There's no final comments on this. I believe this is just a receive and file. We don't have to take a formal motion on this. Is that correct? Okay. Oh, we do have a motion coming in.
No, we do not. It's just a receive and file.
Okay. Thank you for wanting to do a motion. Thank you all so much. We are moving towards the end of our agenda. We are looking at item F4, very exciting item tonight, the election of mayor and vice mayor. So I'm going to turn this over to our city clerk to administer the election. We do have a public commenter signed up to speak. What order would you prefer this happening in?
We should take the speaker first.
Okay.
And then we can proceed. Joshua Baum.
We were just told that this is the order. Sorry. If you want to speak at the end of the agenda during the final public comment period, that would be your other option.
Yeah, I can move you. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so seeing no public speakers, we'll move straight into the election.
Thank you, Mayor. The item before you is the election of the new mayor and vice mayor who will be installed at the January 12th City Council meeting. And so I will open up nominations for mayor.
I would like to nominate Vice Mayor John Heilman.
I'll second that.
You accept.
We have a motion and
Does
a
he
second.
accept?
He accepts.
To be sure.
Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, I will take a voice vote just so we have it on the record. Councilmember Erickson.
Enthusiastically, yes.
Councilmember Hang.
Yes.
Councilmember Meister.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Heilman.
Yes.
Mayor Byers.
Yes.
Congratulations. Our next mayor is John Heilman.
Yay.
And now I will open nominations for vice mayor.
I would like to nominate Councilmember Danny Hang.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Do you accept, Councilmember Hang?
Yes.
Okay, I will take a voice vote. Councilmember Erickson.
We'll get in trouble for this, but I'm going to say hell yes.
Okay, Councilmember Hang.
Yes.
Councilmember Meister.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Heilman.
Yes.
Mayor Byers.
Yes.
Congratulations, Councilmember Hang. You're our new vice mayor. And again, our new incoming mayor and incoming vice mayor will be installed at the January 12th City Council meeting.
May I say one thing?
You may.
I just
of
would like to
course.
thank, I know we'll have much more to say, but I want to thank our current mayor, Chelsea Byers, for her leadership throughout this past year. I literally mentioned to our colleagues that I literally cannot believe it's been a year, but you have been a steward of this city in every way, shape, and form, and I'm just so proud of you, and I'll have much more to say. Congratulations, Mayor, for the next few more weeks.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. We are done with this agenda, and I'm also saving my words till January. So, I mean, truly, I will just say it's been a remarkable year. I'm so grateful for everyone. All the support has meant the world. I will enjoy the holiday break with this title for the last few weeks, but really looking forward to John Heilman becoming our mayor. What a special year we have to look forward to ahead. Truly, we are so fortunate as a city to be served under this leadership to come. So really tremendously grateful. Thank you. Okay, one more. And with that, we'll go to excluded consent, which we have none. So we'll move into our final public comment, and we'll have Joshua Baum join us at the microphone. Are there any other speakers signed up for the final public comment?
No, Mayor, we don't have anyone else signed up.
All right.
I mean, I was going to wait until January, but I'll see what I'm going to say tonight. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I want to thank outgoing Mayor Chelsea Byers. Chelsea is someone I first met at the very end of 2018, almost exactly 7 years ago when I was recruiting the first board for the West Side Young Democrats and looking for people who care deeply about local issues like housing, public transit, and whether young people actually had a voice in government. Chelsea showed up already all-in. Later, passing the presidency of the club to her was one of the easiest and proudest decisions I've ever made. But I also want to say something more personal. A few years ago, during one of the lowest moments of my life, when very few people were there, Chelsea was. I've never forgotten that. Watching her go on to serve the city, including as mayor, has meant more to me than I can really put into words. Chelsea, I'm grateful for you. I'm glad to call you my friend, and I love you. And congratulations to incoming Mayor John Heilman. John is a true civic icon. He helped found this city, and his fingerprints are everywhere in it, especially in what West Hollywood represents for LGBTQ people. It feels right to see him stepping into this role again. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no final public speakers, we'll move to councilmember comments and meeting attendance reports. Who would like to begin? Can I have you start, Councilmember Hang? Soon to be Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. As far as meetings and attendance are concerned, I attended the World's AIDS Day celebration at Stories AIDS Monument. I attended the Victory Fund in DC, where Vice Mayor, soon to be Mayor, John Heilman was inducted into the Victory Fund Victory Institute LGBT Hall of Fame for his over 40 years of service to our community and for being the longest serving LGBTQ out elected official in the United States of America. Thank you. And also at this conference, our wonderful mayor was on several panels talking about housing as well as supporting LGBTQ candidates, which was fantastic to see her speak. And I attended the Winter Wonderland Market. I had to use the Blue Seal because I didn't want to fall again and break my leg. And I was proud to use that Blue Seal. And also I attended the 25th annual Paul Stark Awards. The ceremony was led by the new chair of the Human Services Commission, Chair Anne Marie. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Erickson.
Thank you so much. I attended various events and community gatherings since our last meeting. And I just want to, again, thank David for his service. And Jackie, you'll be right up here in January starting. And I just want to, again, congratulate you. Moving it to consent just shows the community not only how much we trust you, but how much this full council is behind your incoming leadership as city manager. And as someone who has known you since my very first day at City Hall, you have been a mentor and a friend to me, much like David has been. And I just want to thank you for my progress. And if you don't like me, you can blame Jackie. But but whatever. But I don't think there's any. There are people in this city, and I want to echo what our community member David Eckert. And I didn't know you had an Emmy, by the way. So I need to dude, there you go. See, he just goes like this too. That's why I love you, David, because I love finding out new things. But I digress. But I just wanted to say, Jackie, you invested in me when I was moving on from an intern to becoming then Councilmember Land's deputy. You invested in so many of us, and that vision is something that you didn't do to get ahead. You did it because you truly believe in making the world a better place. And there are people who do not agree on anything, but I know they agree on how much they just adore you and your service to the city. So congratulations again. I cannot wait to look over at you and give you my eye roll, or because I don't really have a poker face, but I'm really excited to see what you'll do in the city. And then congratulations to my incoming colleagues, our first soon-to-be AAPI vice mayor, as well as just overall amazing guy. I'll have more to say then, and to someone that has been a mentor. And again, if you also don't like me, I was his intern and hired in that way as well, but a true legend. And I have missed going to many conferences in the past, but I've never missed more going to the Victory Fund this past year to see him get a well-deserved award and standing in the footsteps and the path that you have led for so many of us. And I'll have much more to say, but I did watch your speech that was put out there. It was eloquent. It was very John Heilman, but it was class all the way. And congratulations, incoming Mayor John Heilman.
Councilmember Meister.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended the graduation of the Fall 2025 Civic Academy participants, and it's been great to see how popular this course has been, and I thank staff for putting together an interesting and informative curriculum that seems to be getting around because you keep getting people to come to the next one. So if you thought you were getting out of it, it doesn't look like it. I want to repeat my no vote on item B7 in case it wasn't recorded, although I know it was recorded. I also want to congratulate Vice Mayor Heilman on his recognition at the Liberty Fund, very well deserved, and I also want to congratulate him on being our next mayor, and congratulate Danny to be our next vice mayor. You couldn't have a better mayor to learn from as you join every subcommittee that the city has. So you're going to be busy. I also want to just to say to both Genevieve and David that I wish you both the best as you move into your next respective chapters. And David, does this mean our calls stop every other Friday? You're changing your cell phone number? I just also want to wish everyone a very happy holiday. To please stay safe out there, and a happy New Year. I really felt awful, that I could not say Happy Hanukkah on that after hearing what happened at Sydney. It was just I couldn't say it. I just couldn't say the words because it was such a shocking thing to happen. And a horrible and tragic thing to happen, and as well as what happened at Brown University. So I'll say it now. Happy holidays to everyone, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Heilman.
Thank you. And I will say Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas to everyone. We can't allow people to rob us from our joy, and I want to wish everyone a wonderful holiday. I also want to thank my colleagues for the vote earlier, and I know we will all say a lot more on January 12th. I want to especially thank Chelsea for leading us this last year with such grace and aplomb, and moving through some very difficult issues. Really appreciate not just your leadership here, but your leadership in the community and in the county. We're so lucky to have you. I also attended World AIDS Day. I attended the Paul Stark Warrior Awards. I attended the city holiday party for the employees. I as was mentioned, I was honored at the Victory Fund, and it was a great conference. I want to thank Chelsea for speaking. I also got to go out on the ice skating rink again, and so far I haven't fallen, which is a good thing. And I know that, Lauren, you continue to deal with the eye issues, and I know you have some procedures upcoming, and I think I speak for all of us in saying we wish you a speedy recovery, and we're all here for you if you need anything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll begin with my meeting attendance reports. I was at the Clean Power Alliance Energy Committee meeting, the La Casa Renter Protections and Homelessness Prevention Committee meeting, in addition to the Human Capital meeting at La Casa. I attended the Victory Institute and served on the panels. Thank you for your kind words about those moments. And I also had the great joy of traveling 6 hours to Lakewood round trip with Helen Collins to receive the American Public Works Association Award for the Holloway, one of many awards to come, I'm sure, for such a special project here in the community. But truly thrilling to first receive recognition for the public works side of that, because it was daunting and harrowing in many ways. And Helen and her team led us remarkably. We're so grateful to you, Helen, for your leadership on that project. And to celebrate with that award was very meaningful. It was a long one. Yeah. I recognize that we're at a transition point in the year, a turning point. January is coming up, New Year's, so many holidays ahead, and many transitions with us in the city as David leaves us as city manager in great hands with Jackie Rocco. We are truly so fortunate. But the chamber is transitioning leadership as well. We recognize and thank Genevieve Morrill for years and years of service, and look forward to Len as he joins us in this city soon. And this council as well will have new leadership in just a few weeks. And with this, we should feel a great spirit of excitement and joy to come. Transitions can be scary and daunting with much uncertainty, but we have great confidence that these transitions in leadership in this city will be remarkable and lead us in a really great year ahead. We started this year, 2025, in really tough times. In many ways, those tough times are still sitting with so many people here in the city and across the region. And as far as the federal administration is concerned, these tough times still may be ahead. But I think the resilience that we've shown, the spirit of joy that we're sitting in this end of the year, all we've accomplished in the face of it all, really shows what we're capable of. And I think if we can continue this trend, then we will continue to have much to be proud of as a city. I really wish everyone a beautiful and joyous and restful end of year. I think about our city staff, who, while many of us will be enjoying the holidays, they will still be making sure the city runs very well, and we thank them tremendously for that. But everyone truly deserves a spirited and happy celebration at the end of this year. So happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy New Year, and looking forward to seeing everyone back here January 12th in council chambers. I'll adjourn this meeting then to 6 p.m. on January 12th. It'll be a fun night. Looking forward to being there.
Mayor, could we get a photo with Jackie and David maybe down there just for fun times?
And we'll do that before.
Once it's adjourned. Once it's adjourned.
Yes, we'll do that. But this meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you all so much.